Hey, good morning. Well, good morning in India. I am sorry I haven't made a lot of videos lately. Since I've arrived back here a little over a month ago, I was teaching a lot. I've been driving a lot. I have a lot of duties picking these flowers every day here at my guru's temple. And I've been doing a lot of that all squeezed into a small amount of time. And anyone who knows me knows I'm not terribly excited to do a whole lot of work, and I've had a whole lot of work, but it's actually been interesting and good for me. And that kind of led up to the time when I was getting ready to start making more videos again. Um, and that couple days I was planning to do that, I was contemplating and figuring out what I wanted to talk about. And that's when Sharath died, when the Ashtanga Yoga lineage. So brought a whole lot of other things up. Now, I've been busy here, and I had just stopped being busy the day before that happened, and that made me busy again because then there was all of the events with his cremation. Yesterday was the last event with his ceremony to help send him into Vishnu's realm. And then there's been a lot of people come in town who I haven't seen in many years, who have really got me thinking about the nostalgia of coming here and how it used to feel and how different it had changed and how different it's been for me since I'm still practicing and teaching Ashtanga Yoga, but it's not been the focus of my life these days. When I'm not teaching actively in Europe or in America or even here in India sometimes, I've been here with my guru, working at the temple, learning from him, and how all these different facets of my life kind of came together because of Ashtanga Yoga and because of my not final, my decision to finally come here after 14 years of practicing. None of what I live right now would have been possible had it not been for Sharath carrying on the lineage after his grandfather passed away. So it's been interesting because the day of his funeral, and this is after a week already, stuff that had gone on. His body had to go through certain things in America, and they had a ceremony in America for all of the teachers who were there studying with him. And then it took a long time to get to India, which is not typically what happens. And so that day, I had built up a week of strength, and I was strong for everybody. Everybody was crying, everybody was feeling different things, and unsure of how they were going to manifest these feelings in the next bits of time in the future, how that's going to change everything and such and such. And so I just decided I'm going to be strong for them. And then the next day, a lot of people left because no one knew about this ceremony that was happening yesterday at the time. It hadn't been planned yet. And so I was still okay, but then the day after that, so Wednesday of last week, it really hit me, the grief of the loss, because I wasn't actively learning under him anymore. I did visit him a few times here. We still kept in touch in that way, and he was always my extension from Patabi Joyce as my Ashtanga teacher, and I spent more time learning from him than I did from Patabi. Nancy Gogoff was another one I spent a lot of time with, and she also passed away this year. There's been three big deaths in the Ashtanga community this year alone. This one probably being the biggest one, because as the head of that lineage, and now everyone's kind of wondering what that means. And I think mostly it means we all have to come together for each other, but for ourselves. But also, we are part of the lineage. We are the holders. We are people who were authorized and certified, and sometimes even verbally told to go and teach. He had told me verbally to go home and teach before he authorized me and to start a program. So I did that. Patabi used to do this also. I don't think a lot of people know that Sharath did that, but he did do that also. Um, it's up to us to how I learned to transmit that as well as I can to the two people who come to me to learn Ashtanga Yoga. It's up to us to carry forward the teachings in the interpretation that we have come to understand it as. So it's going to be a bunch of different schools of thought on it. I think it always has been that, though. There used to be a very strong figurehead, though, that had strong opinions about all the things. So we could always kind of step back and say, if we didn't understand or didn't have a clear idea, that was the guidepost, and we don't have that any longer. So, but really, yoga is about tapping into yourself anyway. It's not about going outside, it's about going inside and learning what you feel and how to express it. How does this pose work for me, and what does this pose do for me energetically, and how does this pose affect me emotionally, physically also. And now the person you're saying all these things to teach them might have a completely different experience, but you can only speak from your experience at the level that they're able to understand. So sharing your experience with it is a great way to begin the process of them learning Ashtanga Yoga. And they'll be drawn to you or they won't, and they'll go to whatever teacher is the right one for them, and that's okay. It's been a strange couple weeks, but it's now all of the ceremonies are over. It's kind of giving me time to go into contemplation of how I want to move forward with all of this. I already kind of had an idea. Now it's more cemented in my mind. But the thing is, in India, everything is malleable, is adaptable. So cement is the wrong thing to say, because nothing is one way and it's going to stay that way forever. It's going to keep changing. As of right now, I'm more ready to teach than I ever have been. I'm more ready to give my unique perspective on this practice, and share it with people whenever they are ready for me to do that. I'm kind of ready at a stage in my life where I want to settle down in one place, and not say I want to never leave that place, but I would like to have a place where I'm teaching, and have things that other things that I also can teach, not just Ashtanga, Tantra, chanting, philosophy, all kinds of things that I'm interested in. And it's getting more formulated and more clear since this has happened, because now it feels like more of a bit of devotion to keep sharing it, because it is an important thing, and it has led me to have such an amazing life of travel and friends all over the planet. But also of how to deal with things like this. When a big thing like this comes up, how do you deal with the grief? Do you let it destroy you, or are you just able to feel it? It'll be overwhelming at some points, and you have to be okay with that. But it's also going to be, can I step back and observe that feeling? Can I let it be there and not try to judge it and make it be something it's not, or formulate some kind of opinion around it that's going to get stuck in me somewhere? Can I still stay malleable and adaptable in the face of that? Yesterday, because after they announced this final ceremony, the date and the time, a lot of people flew in, and I got to see a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time. And it makes me remember that he did bring all of us together from all over the planet. People from Australia and from Singapore and from Philippines and from a little bit of everywhere. America, several European countries, UK, South America. I literally know people from almost every continent on the planet because of coming here. And we all came here together, since it was the source of where all this practice came from. And I owe that to him for growing it and continuing the practice after Patabi left his body. And how do I want to move forward with that legacy? I have other legacies in my life also. I am learning under a lineage of avidya, they call it here, of Tantra that involves a Devi that is not terribly well known around India, but is very powerful, and those who do know her have a lot of respect for her. And the Vidya, the teachings around her are very strong and very worthy of attention and worthy of being known, because they do help you mentally, emotionally, stay strong, grow, and be okay with life as it comes to you. And there's several other things that I've adopted into my life since starting Ashtanga Yoga 24 years ago. The biggest thing that I was unsure of feeling at first was this sense of loss, because I do have a guru, I do have a connection to him, I do have that, I still have it. But I did know Sharath for 24 years. I learned from him the first day I took class with his grandfather, because he helped me into a couple postures that I had never been able to do before. And he helped me for several days in a row, and then after 14 years later, when I started coming here, I learned a lot from him in my daily practices with him, but also because we were neighbors, we talked on the street a lot. When I assisted him, I asked a lot of questions and he answered them quite a bit. That helped me understand the practice from different angles. He was an acquaintance and a friend, and he was a teacher for me. So that sense of loss surprised me, because I thought I'd made peace with death in all its forms, Making peace with death, sitting in a cremation ground, which I have done for several months at a time, worshiping a certain Devi who is in charge of that idea of death and time and cremation ground. You have an idea of what it means to you until you have a big death, and then you have to realize, oh, it's still a human thing. I'm still feeling the sense of loss. I'm still missing that person. I just can step back a little bit easier and observe those feelings and let them integrate. It's been interesting, that part, and I am grateful for it, having done the work I've done, so that I was able to be there for people on the day of the cremation, and I was able to feel the feelings a few days later on my own, and then after a week was able to enjoy my time with friends who showed up yesterday that I haven't seen in a while. Have great food, have great music, there were great talks given at the ceremony, and just hug a lot of people that I really care for. And I was able to integrate all of that because of all this work I've done, and it really makes me appreciate my life a lot. So now I'm ready to move into the next stage of, maybe I have to leave India to teach. Maybe I can figure out a way to stay in India and teach and make it a more daily part of my life again. Not just a couple times a year in other countries, but wherever I am, having a place. I don't know. I just, thinking a lot, and I just watched a couple people's remembrances of him and their tears and shared with them. The same feelings shared. I share the same feelings that they were expressing in their videos, in their little discussions. And so I wanted to add that to mine, and I'm going to start making more videos again, because I think I'll have a little bit more time now and in the near future. So it is important to me to do that, and people who watch them appreciate them and enjoy that. So I want to keep that as part of my sadhana, but also part of my teaching and ability to put myself out there. So I want you to also do the same thing. What have you learned in whichever practices you're doing? Ashtanga or some other kind of yoga or Tantra or anything, it doesn't matter. Are you taking it into yourself, integrating it, growing from it, becoming more, and moving out into the world in a bigger way? Being yourself, using your energy, using your presence, using the uniqueness that is you to be all that you can be, so that you can be there for yourself, but so that you can also be there for other people, so that you can create relationships and get all entangled, but also know how to unentangle yourself when needed. And to just allow your humanness to be there, not to think we have to be these superheroes. We are meant to be that as yogis, to some degree. As tantric people, we are meant to be heroes as well. But I'm sitting here seeing this video of myself and noticing how puffy my face is because I practiced less this last week, and I've sweated less, and I've slept more deeply and been a little bit down. And so I'm noticing my puffiness as a human, and I'm okay with it. It's there. What am I going to do about it now? I've already talked for this long. I've actually made 2 other videos and threw them out because I didn't like the direction I took with them. This one has made it to the end. So that's all I got to say right now, and I'm going to put more out there soon, and I want you to reach out if you want to talk or need anything, have questions or have answers and want to share them. And let's stay connected in every way that we can, because that's all we can do. We are here for each other. We are here for ourselves, first and foremost, because we are on a path as our spirit in this body. For a reason we're here, but we're also in connection, in relationship with other people for a reason. And we have to figure out what that means also. Right? Okay. Thanks. Have a great day. Have a great night. I don't know what time it is where you are. Be as happy as you can, even if you're sad, because sadness doesn't preclude happiness. Both can be there. Enjoy feeling all the emotions, enjoy being alive, and lean into it. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.